Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today for our SDS Vital Signs for IP or VIP Monitor webinar, an IP monitor primed for the future. We will be providing a Q&A session today after the demo portion. If you have any questions at any time during this webinar, please send them to us in your chat box. Remember, you can also send us your questions at any time after this presentation via email to info@sdsusa.com. Here's our agenda for today. First, we will be introducing you to your hosts and telling you a bit about Software Diversified services. We will be presenting our Vital Signs for IP or VIP monitor. Our agent-based architecture with a central repository can be set up a few different ways. We will be showing you these options and discussing the dynamics. We will cover the upcoming version 8 and some of the most recent VIP enhancements and general product highlights. This will include some ways you can prime VIP by personalizing your own viewing and diagnostic preferences, setting thresholds and critical alerts. Our own Colin Vandeross will then demo VIP. He will show you some of those enhancements and priming tips. Following Colin's demo, Deb will join us for the live Q&A session that will hopefully give you a chance to delve deeper into some of your own current issues with IP. Okay, so let's get started with the introductions. These are caricatures of Deb and Colin from a share conference. I have yet to have mine made. I'm Yvonne Wheaton. I represent the marketing department at Software Diversified Services. I have over 30 years in the IT business. I'll be your moderator today. I will also be presenting the VIP overview and enhancement section. Colin Vandeross, our senior systems engineer here at SDS, has over 25 years experience as a customer at a large bank. He's been at SDS for several years now, focused on network software solutions and security solutions. And Deb Hudson is also on the line with us today. Deb is a sales manager at SDS and has 30-plus years in the IT business, having been at IBM, HP, Candle, and now SDS, all in sales and consulting roles. SDS, or Software Diversified Services, has been providing mainframe solutions to the market for over 33 years. Our headquarters are located in Minneapolis, Minnesota. SDS now supports over 20 ZOS, MVS, VSE, and VM mainframe systems products for more than 1,000 clients worldwide. Our flagship products are dedicated to network management, security solutions, and performance solutions. Our development staff is continually providing rich, robust updates and enhancements to our products while continuing to make them as light as possible on resources. We are proud of our world-class support. SDS has strived to bring software solutions to the marketplace that provide both cost savings while using elegant and state-of-the-art functionality. Over the years, we've developed more solutions for the distributed environment, we've added to our mainframe portfolio, and we've partnered with key subject matter experts for excellent software solutions. We will go over some of these enhancements later in detail, but it's important to note that we have continued to enhance our products over the years. As you can see by this list, SDS is committed to continually improving and enhancing VIP. We listen to our customers' input. For instance, the high-low watermark reports were for a large bank, and the IP version 6 support was for a large government agency. Some of the key enhancements include Sysplex distributor, multi-trace, and security enhancements. Where some companies have chosen to let their IP monitors languish by not providing enhancements to their IP monitors, we continue to invest in the future by continually improving and enhancing our IP monitor, keeping up with ZOS system and TCP/IP changes. Our enhancements are included in your maintenance cost, so there's no extra charge to you. VIP was built from the ground up using browser-based GUI with a solid architectural design and plan from the start, thus enabling us to capitalize on technology improvements. VIP was designed to be incredibly efficient. We have customers that have discarded their IP monitor in favor of VIP because it's lightest on CPU resources. In fact, some of our largest customers had legacy tools installed. It provides both real-time and historical information with several canned reports. It's very easy to install and learn. You can personalize VIP for your own use. VIP provides you with a dynamic auto-discovery of your IP environment. Our primary dashboard, at-a-glance screens, give you a bird's-eye view of your network. Data is pulled from a central repository to give you a big-picture overall view of the health of your IP environment. VIP is currently running in production in very large complex shops of 110 LPARs and at a very large bank of 160,000 MIPS. Let's briefly review the VIP architecture. VIP consists of a three-tier architecture: a server, an agent, and a browser. Think of the agent as the engine of VIP, where all the processing, automation, and recovery routines take place. VIP agents reside on z/OS LPARs, where they acquire data about the host's TCP/IP networks. Agents communicate their data to a VIP server. The server on a z/OS host or elsewhere works with multiple agents. So the z/OS agent reports all the activity to the server, which stores and consolidates the data. Users access the server via a secure web browser. The VIP server is the user's front end, where they view logs, execute automation, and are able to issue commands. Agents install on z/OS 1.13 through 2.1. You would install a VIP agent on all the LPARs where you want IP visibility, and wherever you require network and automation functionality. You can run more than one agent on the same LPAR if you desire. Perhaps you're doing some testing and you don't want to impact other users. Then you can consider running two agents on the same LPAR. You could house your VIP product all in one place if you like. As you can see here, the agents and servers are all on the z/OS mainframe. The VIP server can be installed on a variety of different platforms. It can be installed on z/OS under USS, on Linux, on Z-Linux, as well as AIX and Windows platforms. If you want to conserve CPU cycles, then you can consider deploying the server on a platform external to z/OS. In our experience, most customers opt for installing the product on z/OS. I think there are a variety of reasons for this. Maybe they want to keep control of their software and don't want to rely on teams external to the mainframe to restart or recycle the server for them. If you're installing on System Z and have a specialty engine like a zip or a zap processor, you can take advantage of these specialty engines and offload CPU cycles to them. So a VIP server can monitor and communicate with multiple VIP agents. For example, in your environment, you have multiple, say 10 LPARs. You can configure the VIP server to communicate with all these agents. From a failover and redundancy point of view, you can run more than one VIP server. In the event of the primary server being down, you can have your users connect to your hot standby or backup server by making use of a virtual IP address or VIPA, or simply have their users point their browser to the backup server. Because the VIP agents can communicate with multiple servers, you are assured of seeing the latest information regardless of which server you're logged onto. Here's an example of an optional VIP customer environment. Here we have a server and an agent installed on one LPAR in Minneapolis, and a few agents installed on LPARs in Minneapolis and Paris St. Cloud. Then we have another agent installed on an LPAR in Raleigh and Atlanta. Lastly, we decided to add a hot standby server running on Windows in Atlanta. We've seen in some customer environments where a primary server is running on z/OS and the backup server is on a Windows platform. You have the flexibility to choose which operating system works best for your environment. Today's mission-critical big data, cloud computing, and BYOD, or bring your own device, has dramatically increased transaction rates. Demand on IP subnets and IP addressing is increased with companies utilizing sysplex environments. All these items together across critical paths have created a dramatic increase in transfer requirements. This is where you need to troubleshoot, track, and check the workload balancing on your network. Do you have enough bandwidth? VitalSigns for IP or VIP provides you with a comprehensive view into your network. VIP dashboards give you an overall picture of your network. VIP lets you easily drill down from a big picture network view to see detailed specific information. You can monitor all your LPARs with a single at-a-glance instance. It's so simple to install and customize. One interface, one product, one integrated solution. VIP is a real-time IP monitor with historical data, a full suite of diagnostics, and innovative dashboards. Our VIP monitor is complete with help information and personalization of displays. You get a complete overview of your network from a single browser screen, thanks to multiple collection methods. This way you can spot problems before your network is affected and make your network more trouble-free and efficient than ever. You don't have to constantly tell VIP of new network connections. VIP's auto discovery feature will find TCP connections, interfaces, applications, and stacks for you. You can see all the at-a-glance options in VIP. I will mention just a few. Sysplex at a glance reports on all the Sysplex distributors and distributed dynamic virtual IP addresses, or DVIPAs, that VIP agents find. The Alerts at a Glance screen provides you with a quick, easy system-wide snapshot of active and resolved alerts. Activity at a Glance quickly identifies heavy traffic loads at a glance, summarized by system, stack, and application. This can be ranked by interface or connection. The Applications at a Glance screen provides you with a useful summary view of your applications. UDP and TCP across all systems are filtered for just one. OSA, TN3270 response time, FTP, HPR, remote applications, remote hosts. As you can see, there are so many more. VIP enhancements provide current system software support and can make your job easier. Our latest installation improvements include the unzip key. It's no longer required. Sufficient security is provided by other means. Server stack name. When you install a VIP version 8 server on a ZOS USS, the install dialog includes a prompt to name the TCP/IP stack that the server will use. Including the stack name allows VIP version 8.1 to more reliably resolve a domain name or validate an IP address. A VIP 8.1 server on a ZOS USS can take advantage of application transparent transport layer security. ATTLS is a TCP/IP stack configuration that provides encryption to all applications that use the stack. It means that the TLS HTTPS security need not be implemented for individual applications, like the VIP server. Our latest browser interface improvements include support for passphrases. The sign-on panel for a VIP version 8.1 server supports ZOS passphrases up to 100 characters including spaces and punctuation, as well as the standard 8-character passwords. The advanced search tool makes it significantly easier to find data about a specific network resource or entity. With the advent of very large, complex environments, you have so much data to track and so many options that IP information can be overwhelming. Using an advanced search tool, like the one in VIP, provides you with a cleaner, more precise view of what's important to you. You can choose the system or systems you're interested in. You can then specify the entity you'd like to see, like alerts, HPR, OSA, Sysplex distributors, or 3270 response times, for example. The hide, save, delete queries. You can customize the VIP system overview tree. That's the list of data queries at the left edge of many VIP browser windows. The overview starts as a list of the product's built-in data queries. Click on a node in the list. VIP displays the selected data table. You can add new queries to the list by applying an advanced filter to a table, then clicking on the button labeled Save Filter to Tree. You can remove any node from the overview by right-clicking on it, then selecting Hide or Delete from the menu. Hidden queries can be restored later with the Restored Nodes button beneath the overview tree. The delete option applies to custom queries only and permanently discards them. Alerts linked to source. In displays of VIP alerts, click on a record to see the VIP report about the entity that generated the alert. 3 VIP browser displays list VIP alerts generated by various network and system resources. Alerts at a glance, network at a glance, and alerts for resource type. At each, you can right mouse click on any alert record, then select Entity Home Page. OSA port utilization. A new table in the OSA at a glance panel presents port utilization data. An OSA port name identifies a pathway from a ZOS machine through OSA hardware and out to a network. VIP's new port utilization table summarizes OSA management data for each port. For any one port, click on a data record to see the data for each of the LPARs using that port. The OSA LPAR hostname. In VIP's OSA at a Glance panel, the LPAR utilization table now reports the name of each LPAR. Previously, the system field identified the source of OSA management data that populated a given LPAR record. Starting with VIP version 8.1, the system field names the VIP agent residing at the LPAR that the record describes. OSA Express VIP agents now fully monitor OSA Express 4S and OSA Express 5S. Trace IP packet retransmits. You may wonder, where did a packet originate? Why was it retransmitted? IP packet retransmits are identified for you in the browser display of IP packet trace results. VIP 8.1 marks retransmitted packets with a color coding, and Colin will show you that later in the demo. SDS ensures day one toleration support for the upcoming ZOS 2.2 release. In our discussion of the VIP monitor, we want to include the robust diagnostic tools where you can get VIP to work for you. It can provide you with alerts when certain thresholds are triggered. Real-time IP packet traces are traces that interface with IBM's packet trace utility with trace data already in IPCS format. View traces interactively or save them to a ZOS dataset. Start, stop, pause, and view traces without changing screens or entering complex trace command strings. Generate alerts and locate the origination of alerts. Interactive and comprehensive alerting. Automatic display of new alerts. Drill down to see where the alerts were triggered. OSA port utilization with real-time details on our OSA at a Glance dashboard. Colin will be going into some of that later on in the demonstration. Setting VIP thresholds highlights the violation of a performance threshold for some resource monitors. When utilization is above or below a certain threshold, the VIP server generates an alert. Thresholds are specified as a part of the VIP agent configuration. Regarding Sysplex distributors, VIP now reports IP version 6 addresses for the Sysplex distributors as well as IP version 4 addresses, and Colin will be referring to that later on as well. Batch trace facility. With our historical data, you can run batch traces on host systems via batch jobs. Generate reports in HTML or Excel formats for major topics such as OSA traces, FTP, Telnet, TN3270, and applications. Send them to interested parties via email address or post them to a file. Connections Explorer. Large business installations can have tens of thousands of IP system connections. VIP's sophisticated user interface allows you through a variety of filters to easily locate specific connections. Applications at a Glance also allows filtering of VIP agents. Agents seek out and monitor all their local applications, such as TCP listeners, servers, and FTP and Telnet servers, depending on their agent configuration. To see the number of unresolved alerts VIP has issued for these applications, click on a cell to see the alert log for this application. Our VIP Tools pull-down menu option gives you a list of essential diagnostic and repair tools. Some of these we touched on, but it's nice to see them all in one place. Ping. Test for the presence of a given network host and measure the round-trip time for messages to that host. IP Trace, which Colin will be showing you, records packets as they pass in and out of a TCP/IP stack. You can filter traces for specific IP addresses, interfaces, and network protocols. Traceroute. Map the route a message travels. For example, identify the hosts and routers between origin and destination. Connections Explorer. Colin will touch on this also. Lists active TCP/IP connections on a given mainframe system. Filter lists by application, stack, status, local or remote IP addresses. DNS Lookup. Translate numeric IP addresses to alphabetic host names and vice versa. SNMP MIB inquiry. Via the Simple Network Management Protocol, retrieve management and configuration data from network hosts. Colin will provide a demonstration of VIP to highlight some of our recent enhancements, show you some at-a-glance dashboards, and provide some diagnostic information. But before I hand it over to Colin, I want to remind everyone that we will be having a Q&A session at the end of this presentation. You can send us your questions via the chat box. I will now hand it over to Colin. Colin?
Thank you, Yvonne. Welcome everyone, and thank you for taking time out to view our webinar today. My plan is to show you some of the new features that has been added to VIP 8.1. Time doesn't allow me to show all of the new additions to the product, but I've selected a few features that I thought would be of interest to you. So the first thing you'll notice when establishing or connecting to a VIP 8.1 server is we've now included the support for passphrases. This was a request from a customer that had a requirement to enter passwords longer than 16 characters, and also the inclusion of some of those special characters within the password. Recently, I was reviewing an article on the internet on some of the new features that's going to be available in ZOS 2.2, and specifically the password security enhancements. As you can see, there's a few enhancements that has been made in ZOS 2.2. For example, the strong encryption algorithms, support for 14 additional special characters. This is something that you can review when you have some time. Back to our demonstration, I'm going to sign on with my user ID and my RACF password, and when logging onto the VIP server, it'll always return you to the last dashboard that you viewed prior to logging off. On the left hand side is the navigation tree. We've had good feedback from our customers. People really like the navigation tree. It makes for navigation to the different dashboards on the product so much easier. You can set different filters. So for example, on the navigation tree, I could say show me anything that begins with the words FT, and now you could see it brought up the FTP dashboard for me. I use a laptop, and my screen is not the biggest screen around. What you can do if you do have a similar type of situation is you can go to the View tab, click on the Hide System Overview tree, and now you've got a little bit more real estate on the screen. Then you would have to use the At a Glance tab in order to get to the different dashboards. But for today's demonstration, I'm going to go with showing the System Overview tree. I like that. My preference is to use the overview tree. It makes for navigation on the product really easy. Something you may be familiar with that was added in version 8 is you can actually elect how many graph panes are showed on your screen. By default, we ship it with 4. My personal preference is to go with 2 graph panes. I just find it gives me a little bit more real estate on the bottom half of my screen. So that's something that you can customize. Again, it's only for your user ID. It's not going to affect anybody else, so specific to your user ID. I selected one Telnet application here in this abbreviated pane on the top, and now you can see it's highlighted the information for me in the bottom half of my screen. As you can see, there's a lot of good information on the product. You may want to add or take away information that's shown on your screen, and you can do that by clicking on the shopping basket, and now you can select and deselect what information is shown on your screen. So again, individual to your user ID, it's only going to affect your display. You don't have to change, it won't affect anybody else's. Something that also has been added to 8.1, which is really nice, is I'm just going to show you the quick filter. So there you can see, for example, is the tel. I've said show me anything that begins or has the letters TEL, and now you can see it's got telnet and also something that's called vertel. Something that has been added to 8.1 is you can click on the advanced filter, and let's assume in custom environments, and I've seen this before in some custom environments where there's a lot of TCP applications in the environment, and bear in mind VIP is going to auto discover those TCP applications for you. So in this particular case, I'm going to set up a filter. I'm going to call the name. I'm going to set the criteria to be the name, and I'm going to say it begins with the words tel, and I'm going to add that to the list. So that's going to be for all of my telnet servers. I'm now going to apply that filter, and now you can see some of those telnet servers here in my environment. So this is a nice way of setting those filters in your environment. Again, VIP will auto discover those TCP applications for you out of the gates. We're going to go out there and discover all of them. Sometimes in large customer environments, there's just so many, and you want to set some of those filters up. This is one way to do that. There you can see the little icon is saying that there is a filter in place. And in 8.1, we've got one step further now. You can actually save this filter to the navigation tree. So I've clicked on the save filter to the tree, and I'm going to call this, let's call it Telnet servers. Let's click on the OK button, and if I refresh the navigation tree, I'll be able to see that it's been added to under the TCP servers, and there is my Telnet server. So really nice way where you can set up some of those filters. Perhaps CICS, you got maybe a few hundred of them. You only want to view some of those CICS applications. This is one way that you can set it up on the advanced filter, save the filter to the tree, and now you can view that information, all that filtered information. This again was a request that came from a customer. They had a requirement where they had a lot of CICS applications, and they wanted to make that available to folks in their communication server group. So they went one step further. They made this particular filter available to all of the folks on the communication server group. So a nice way to be a bit more granular for the type of information that's displayed on VIP. You can choose to hide this particular item from the navigation tree. So now you can see it's been removed. And again, if I say restore nodes, it'll bring it back. So it'll always be there, and I can then go back and view the Telnet servers. If there's no longer requirement to have this on the navigation tree, hit the delete button, and that'll be then removed from the navigation tree. So really nice information that you can use. You can be granular, you can set these filters up, and you can have as many as them as you want. And that applies to anywhere on the product. That may be maybe for an OSA adapter. Perhaps there's a few channels that you want to set up, or you only want to view some to your production environment. The same applies. Just set the filter up with the advanced filter, click on the save filter to the tree, and you then can click on that particular item on the navigation tree. It'll then bring it up for you. So good information, easy to locate on VIP. So that's one of the other new features that has been added to the product. One last item before I show you some of the other new features that you may not be aware of. But in version 8, for example, you can see there's a lot of good information. Right now you can see the 24-hour graph is grayed out. By clicking on any one of these fields, it'll now plot the inbound bytes for me over a 24-hour period. So if you need historical information or just need to see some trend analysis on what happened from an inbound bytes point of view, now you can see the 24-hour period. So that's something that you can use to get a feel for the flow of traffic in your environment. Okay, let's move along with the demonstration. Something new that's been added to the product is the advanced search. So there's two ways of getting to the advanced search. One would be from the navigation tree, and one could be from the tools menu. So in this particular case, the advanced search, I've set it up. My preference is to open it up a brand new window for the advanced search, and now you can see it open up a new window for me. So think of the advanced search of like maybe the Google of VIP, where you can use search for any string on VIP. So for example, I've got a few that I've already performed. I'm gonna, for illustration purposes, I'm gonna use an IP address, and I'm gonna tell VIP to locate all instances or all hits for 10.31.200.2. You maybe want to be a bit more granular or more specific, so maybe you want to just isolate it to one LPAR in this particular case, or I'm going to go for all systems. And also, if you know the entity, perhaps it's only on the interfaces, maybe you're searching for an OSA interface, just click the appropriate entity, and then we will search that for you, and that'll obviously then produce a little less hits for you, a little less results on the advanced search. So let's go with all entities, hit the search button, and now it'll return all of those instances back for me. And here you can see, for example, it looks like there was an alert generated for that, and we also have some hits for the Sysplex distributor. So all good information. I can click on that hyperlink. It'll take me away to the Sysplex distributor at a glance. There you can see 10.31.200.2, and it looks like this distributed Viper is inactive, and now you can see what that is all about. So it's located 10.31.200.2. Just another way for you to gain access or view information on the product a whole lot quicker, and find all iterations or all instances of, in my case, 10.31.200.2. Let's go back to the advanced search. I'm going to use the tools menu again and go back to the advanced search. So we'll perform another one and to show you what other hits we got for that particular IP address. Yeah, you can see it's loading, and there you can see I'm going to go back to 10.31.200.2. I'm going to perform the same search. So let's hit the search button and it'll come back and show me all of the hits for that. Here is looks like one where there was an alert. So let's go to this hyperlink, go to the alerts at a glance, and now you can see it's telling me that there was no active targets for this suspects distributor, and going again relating back to 10.31.200.2. And now you can see some information about this. Some customers use this to manage their alerts in the environment. So by right clicking on that event, you can choose to ignore it if it's something that's not important in your environment. So if you do choose to ignore that, and you do have the red stop sign saying that something critical has happened in your environment, and that this particular event, let's assume that's caused it to go to the red stop sign. If you ignore it, it'll go back to the green saying that everything is okay on your network. You can also choose to resolve it, so you would have to enter some sort of narrative on there to say why you're resolving it. But something new that has been added to 8.1 is the entity homepage. So by clicking on the entity homepage, it'll take you back to the dashboard where this alert originated from. And now you can see again 10.31.200.2, it's inactive, so that's the reason why this one was generated. And now you can see what this alert is all about. Again, it's just one way of how you can track this, but the entity homepage shows you where the alert originated from and what the alert is all about. So again, I'm just going back to where I was, and now I'm only brought up this one event. So that's something new that's been added to the product, the entity homepage. Anytime you're viewing an alert, you can actually click on that and it'll take you back. So maybe it's a TN3270 response time monitor, or perhaps it's something monitoring your TCP applications or maybe your remote applications. At least you'll be able to have a heads up on where this event was generated from. So that's something new that's been added to the product, the advanced search, something that just to show you how I've set it up for my environment or for my user ID. If you click on the options tab, I've said that when the advanced search tool is used, for me, I want it to open up in its own window. So there you can see the advanced search, the connections explorer. That's something that a lot of you are familiar with. I've chosen to open it up in its own window. Again, individual preference, you can customize it to your individual requirements. Let's close that off and go on with the demonstration. Let's talk about some of the diagnostic tools and also some of the new enhancements that has been added to VIP 8.1. So the IP trace is something that is widely used by a lot of our customers. It's really easy to use. Um, Here, for example, is I've saved a trace. So just to show you one of the new features that has been added to the product, I can click on the View tab, and I'm now viewing a trace that I saved a while ago. You'll notice that the color scheme is identical to that of Wireshark. So if you've ever used Wireshark on perhaps on a Windows platform or one of those distributed platforms, you'll see that the color scheme is identical. So this is telling me that something has occurred, and that's why it's highlighted in red. And this is something new that has been added in 8.1. We now allow you the ability to trace or show packets that were retransmitted. So there you can see there's two packets that were retransmitted. This is great if you need to figure out why packets are being retransmitted, where the originating IP address is, what the reasons are for these particular packets being retransmitted. Something new that has been added into version 8.1 is the ability to trace these retransmitted packets. Something also that I know a lot of customers like using is the Connections Explorer. So let's go to the Connections Explorer, and again just talking about the trace function, how you can kick off traces on VIP because of the context sensitive nature of the product. you can actually have VIP plug some of those values for you automatically. On the left hand side, there's some filter criteria. So for example, I could switch to the 034 system, and now you can see some of the active connections on there. But on the left hand side, this is all information that you can use to be a bit more granular for the connections that will be shown in the Connections Explorer box on the right hand side. So maybe you know the job name, perhaps it's a CICS application. If you type the job name in on this box over here, it'll show you all of the connections related to that job name. Something you may remember as well that was added in version 8 is the support for IP version 6. So if you only want to view IP version 6 connections, you can do that in the bottom of your screen here, showing this IP address. But just to show you the context-sensitive nature of the product, let's show some of these connections, and I'm going to just choose any one of them. Go to the Tools menu, click on the IP trace, and now you'll see all of these values are automatically plugged in for me. Here you can see 10.0.1.2 and 3. I didn't have to go about plugging in all of these values. VIP remembers that for you, and it'll input all of this information for you on the IP trace definition screen. All that's left for me to do is put a name in. If I want to view this interactively or write it out to a file or both, and also you then can also export this trace. You could send it off to IBM. They could view the trace using IPCS. And also, if you've ever had the discussion with some of the networking folks where there's a dispute where the bad response time is locating or where the response time is originating from, you could take this trace, you could format it into the .enc format, and you then can send it off to the guy on the network team. He then can view this trace on a product like Wireshark. So something, just a little refresher on the context sensitive nature of the product. Something new that has been added to VIP as well. If I go down to the OSA, we've added a new dashboard. So the OSA port utilization has been added to the product. And there you can see the OSA port utilization. This is the new table that shows the port utilization. The OSA port name identifies the path from the ZOS machine through to the OSA hardware and also out to the network, and this is all reflected on the port utilization table. The OSA management data for each report, so anytime you click on any one of these, you'll be able to drill down and see the port utilization. So another new dashboard being added to the product. You can view this information. Remember, you can right click anywhere on the product and click on the details, and that'll take you a layer further into the product where you can see specific detail about this one OSA port for that I've selected here. If you want to view historical information, depending on how much information you have in the online vSAM files, you can go back and view historical information. And also there is a batch reports that you can run. So we write some of this information away to the GDGs, and you can also write reports to extract information from SMF. So that's some of the new additions that has been made to the diagnostic portion of the product. One last thing to show you about one of the new features that has been added to 8.1 is a customer recently, it was a financial institution, had a requirement. They needed to monitor a connection to another banking institution, and anytime this connection went beneath a designated threshold or over a certain threshold, they wanted to be made aware of it. So we've made some changes in the VIP application connection monitor. You may be familiar with this. Remember, when you're invoking VIP menu and using the configuration tool, you can customize some of these tables. So I'm going to go into the application connection monitor just to give you an example on how you could set this up. So here you can see the IP address. I've called it, this is my PC down back here in Atlanta, and you can see I've set the low limit to be 60K and the high limit to be 120 meg. So anytime my particular connection goes beneath this threshold or above the high limit, VIP is going to generate an alert for you. Like I said to you, this is a requirement from another customer that needed to monitor this high profile connection to another bank. So just to show you how that works, let's go back to the advanced search, and I'm going to perform a search. Let's go for my name. Remember, that's what the name of the entry was. Excuse me. Hit the search button, and now I'll be able to view. There you can see some of the events that occurred for this particular application connection monitor. So if I click on one of those, it'll take me away to the alerts at a glance, and I'll be able to see that it looks like the activity was low on my PC. So if you have some of those high profile connections, maybe one of those connections to another institution, or maybe a group of users that you need to know anytime thresholds diminish or go certain thresholds above certain thresholds, that's certainly something that you can do. And again, using the entity homepage, I can see where was this particular monitor set up. So it looks like it's under the applications at a glance, and now I can view some information about this monitor that I set up. So I'll be able to go back and see what this is all about. So that's some of the new features that has been added to the product. Thank you for your time today. As I mentioned previously, I didn't have time to show all of the features to you in 8.1, but we just wanted to make sure that you're up to date, up to speed with some of the new features in 8.1. STS is committed to enhancing VIP, and we make sure we leverage all of the new technology. So for example, in ZOS 2.1, there were some enhancements added to the NMI. If we feel that it's going to make our product better, some of these enhancements to the NMI will certainly be incorporated into VIP. We committed to VIP, and we definitely want to make sure it's primed for the future. And as you can see, we've made a lot of additions, making sure that the product is staying abreast with all of the latest technology, and also making the product so much easier to use. So thanks again. I look forward to answering some of those questions that you entered in the chat box. And I'm going to hand it back to Yvonne to wrap up the session, and then we're going to field some of those questions that you have. Thanks everyone for your time, and Yvonne, back to you.
Thank you, Colin, for that detailed and informative demo. I'll now summarize some of the things we talked about today. We hope you see why VIP outperforms other monitors, including those bundled in software suites. VIP comes complete with the essential tools for proactive IP information management, all in one product, totally integrated, no snap-on or strung-together products. Our product enhancements are included in your maintenance cost. No extra charges. You will find our products provide you solutions with a way to do more with less. We can demonstrate how SDS can save you money over legacy products. We maintain low CPU utilization while providing rich, robust updates and enhancements to our products because our developers work with an eye toward continuing to make VIP as light as possible on resources. It is simple to install and customize. Our VitalSigns for IP, or VIP, marries well with VitalSigns for Network Automation and Control, or VNAC. Their synergistic components will keep you aware of your network's alerts and activity. VIP can trigger automatic repairs by sending alerts to its companion product, VitalSigns for Network Automation and Control, or VNAC. We provide a free trial period and one-on-one demos. Let us know by sending us an email at info@sdsusa.com or call us at 800-443-6183 if you are interested in either of these.